Good evening, listener. This is Primal Radio and the program The Gladiators with legend Ajayi. Hope you're good. And how's been your day? Hope you're coping with the social, political, economic situation of the world. Yeah, it's quite messy. But just like the song of what's the name of that musician? R. Kelly, yeah. R. Kelly, Robert Kelly. The storm will be over. The storm is almost over. Yeah, today we'll be looking at another Gladiator. Last week we discussed Onyeka Owenu, but this week we'll be looking at Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka was born Akinwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on 13th July 1934 in Abeokuta, that is in Ogun State. So, but he is popularly known as Wole Soyinka. His father was Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, who was an Anglican minister and the headmaster of St. Peter's School in Abeokuta. The position was actually called headmaster then, but nowadays we call it head teacher. So his dad was actually the head teacher of St. Peter's School in Abeokuta then. His mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was also an Anglican. She was also an Anglican, and in other words, Wole Soyinka grew up in a considerably religious environment. As a matter of fact, he was a chorister. He was a member of the Anglican choir then. And as we keep discussing our Gladiator for today, for this week, I'll play one of his songs because he was, and I believe he's still a musician, but not as much as he is a scholastic entity. Yeah, as regards his marriage and family, Soyinka has been married 3 times and divorced twice. So, and he has children from his 3 marriages. His wives, Barbara Dixon, Olaide Idowu, and Folake Doherty. Yeah, he's been married 3 times and divorced twice. And some of his children are Olaokun, Moremi, Peyibumi, Ilemakin. Just to mention a few of them rather. As regards his education, he started with Abeokuta Grammar School, that is in Ogun State. Then continued and he got into the University College Ibadan Road. That is now University of Ibadan. Before he proceeded and became a student of the University of Leeds in England. Yeah. While he was in UI then, University of Ibadan, he formed a confraternity, that is a kind of brotherhood called Pirates Confraternity, a group formed. It was an anti-corruption and justice-seeking student organization, an organization that was set up, that was formed to fight for the rights of students. And it was actually the first, it was the first confraternity in Nigeria then. Nowadays, you see secondary school students, primary school students, even primary school, all of them forming different confraternity, diabolical ones. You have names such as Birds, the Jezebel, Pink Ladies, and all that. Not actually like what Wole Soyinka. So you shouldn't compare what Wole Soyinka did and what some of our students, and tertiary undergraduates and all what they are doing now with what Wole Soyinka did way back then. It was actually for a right cause, but what most people who form confraternities are doing now is actually not for the benefit of anybody. Yeah, as regards his occupation, Wole Soyinka as an author, he's a poet, he's a playwright, he's a novelist, he's a songwriter, he's a musician, he's a human rights activist, and he's a professor emeritus. Yeah, He worked with the Royal Court Theatre in London when he was through with studying in Nigeria then and in the UK. So he was a professor of comparative literature, in Obafemi Awolowo University, now called then it was called University of Ile-Ife. He was a professor before he became a professor emeritus, and he has taught in so many schools, still teaching in so many schools in Africa, in Asia, almost in all the continents. Universities such as Cornell University, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, University of Oxford, Harvard, and Yale. So that is as regards his occupation. As regards politics, Wole Soyinka has been in politics in fact, since Nigeria, before Nigeria got our independence, and up to now, he's been a part and parcel of the political journey of Nigeria. He took an active role in Nigeria's political history and its struggle for independence from Great Britain. In 1965, he seized the Western Nigeria Broadcasting Service studio and broadcast the demand for the cancellation of Western Nigeria regional elections. Then, he went to the studio. He got a gun. The story is actually in You Must Set Forth at Dawn. He felt, or he thought, it was of his opinion then that the Western Nigerian regional election then was not free and fair. So he took over before the person in charge of the radio station did the broadcast. He gave his own broadcast and he cancelled the election because it wasn't free and fair. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he was arrested by federal government, General Yakubu Gowon, and put in solitary confinement for 2 years. He was arrested because the government then felt he was conniving with the Easterners, and the people were trying to secede them. We all know the history of the Civil War. The Igbo wanted to be on their own. They wanted to survive on earth because they felt marginalized and all that. So Wole Soyinka, in a bid to find peace, to ensure that there is peace between the federal government and the Easterners, he was imprisoned, and he was imprisoned for 2 years. During the regime of General Sani Abacha, from 1993 to 1998, Soyinka escaped from Nigeria on a motorcycle. The story is also in that book, You Must Set Forth at Dawn. A old professor on a motorcycle, he escaped out of Nigeria through the Benin Republic route. I just imagine a professor being waylaid, being pursued by a soldier. Professor answered, we thank God. When Abacha took his leave of us, if you understand what that means, he has returned, and for a very long period of time, Wole Soyinka has been staying in Nigeria. As regards the ailment, in 2014, he revealed his battle with prostate cancer. So he has prostate cancer. And as regards controversies on the issue on the plane, a young man insisted that Wole Soyinka should vacate his seat, which the professor did. The young man came into the plane and he told Wole Soyinka to vacate a particular seat because he claimed the seat was actually allotted to him. People told the boy to sit somewhere, a young man to sit somewhere else, but he insisted that Wole Soyinka should vacate, which Wole Soyinka actually did. But from my own point of view, we were not brought up that way. We were told to respect the elders, the elderly ones, but so many people will have contrary opinions. But anyway, that's by the way. As regards his permanent resident card, what we call green card, he promised to destroy his card if Donald Trump won the presidential election in the United States of America. Then Trump actually won, and Soyinka told us that he destroyed it. He destroyed his green card, his permanent resident card. How he destroyed it, we don't know. Probably burnt it, probably tore it, but he told us he destroyed it, and he would prefer to get to be on a queue for a regular visa with others, and he doesn't want to be associated with the United States of America. He doesn't want to be a citizen with someone as Trump, someone like Trump as the president. Yeah. Another controversy we say people don't talk say if no be say Wole Soyinka support Buhari, so many people wouldn't have voted for Buhari because people were of the opinion that Wole Soyinka is not just an ordinary person, he's an intellectual, considerably a very wise person, but so many people are actually disappointed. Why would a whole professor emeritus not foresee that we're actually going to be in this mess? Yeah, so people supported Buhari, so many people supported Buhari, but the likes of Buhari, Osinbajo and all that, or people like that who actually, they pulled so much support for Buhari then. So people still believe nowadays that if not for the support, if not for this set of people who actually supported Buhari, so many people would have voted for Buhari, regardless of the fact that so many people still believe that the election wasn't free and fair. Yeah. Now, even Wole Soyinka believes that, according to what Aisha Buhari said, that our president is actually not in charge of his governance. He's not in charge of government. He's actually not governing. So many people are in charge. As we can see, so many funny, shameless deals, so many forms of maladministration, forms of corruptions, money being shared here and there, money that are supposed to be used for projects that are actually supposed to be for the betterment of the masses that are being pocketed by few set of people, millions, billions. So what Aisha Buhari said and what Wole Soyinka is actually saying now is that Buhari is actually not in charge of his government, of the government. In other words, it shows that even professors, they feel made mistake. Nobody there avoid mistake. Should we assume that Wole Soyinka actually made a mistake? Well, that should be a personal thought. As regards legacy and works, he's produced prose, dramas, and poems of different forms, different shapes, dramas, comical, tragic poems, the ones that are not absolutely comical, the ones and a mixture of all. So works like The Lion and the Jewel, Trials of Gladiator, Death and King's Horsemen, Opera Onyosi, You Must Set for Adon, as I mentioned earlier, The Man Died, poems like Telephone Conversation. He actually translated two of the books of Dio Fagunwada, Ogboju Odeninu Gborumale, and Igbo Olodumare. He translated it. Yeah, I gave that Ogboju Odeninu Gborumale titled The Forest of a Thousand Demons. The Forest of a Thousand Demons, and that of Igbo Olodumare, In the Forest of Olodumare. In the Forest of Olodumare. He's got so many awards: the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature, Ajib Prize for Literature, then Benson Medal from Royal Society of Literature, honorary doctorate, Harvard University, honorary doctorate degree, Princeton University. So many awards. So he's done so very well as regards literary works. And as regards his quotes, he said, "The greatest threat to freedom is the absence of criticism." The greatest threat to freedom is the absence of criticism. When the people in government don't actually want people to criticize them whether they're wrong or right, then they are threatening the freedom of the masses. So you should be open to criticism. Let people criticize you. Let us find out maybe you're doing the right thing or you're not doing the right thing. But if you don't want us to do that, then you are not actually allowing us to be free. It's a democratic, it should be a democratic setting. But if you don't want us to hear our views, then you are actually turning the society into a despotic one, an authoritarian society. And the second quote: "The man dies in all who keep silent in the face of tyranny." The man dies in all who keep silent in the face of tyranny. If you keep quiet, if you don't say anything in the face of molestation, in the face of harassment, in the face of wickedness, in the face of suffering, the man in you is dead. Whether you're female, you're male, regardless of your gender. From my own point of view and from my own side, when exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals. When exposing a crime, when you're trying to expose a crime and you're trying to expose a crime is treated as another form